Todd Bowles, got a lot of respect for him, as you guys know. We were together in Dallas. I've known him for a long time, coached together in Miami, and just what he's done throughout the years. He's an outstanding coach. Teams are tough, physical, aggressive, disciplined, so we got our hands full. Quarterback's playing really good football right now, man. Got a lot of respect for him, the way he plays the game. They'll grind it out, but they've got an explosive element on their offense. They got guys they can throw to here. They can run the ball, good offensive line, defensive. You got to be ready for it all, Levante David's been doing it a long time. He's a takeaway machine, and in the front, Vita Vea, obviously, Winfield. I mean, we can keep going. They got a lot of good players over there, and they play good football. So we're looking forward to this challenge.
You talked about Baker the other day a little bit, but just what is it about his play style, I guess, that endears him to teammates, and what comparisons, if any, do you see with him and Goff, and kind of both the road they travel and what they mean to their teams?
Well, I think they're both tough. Like, to me, they're both really tough, dependable, resilient guys, man. I think both of them have overcome a lot. I think when we watch those guys and just the nature of the way they play, like our quarterback will sit in there, man. He'll make throws with he had to do it the other day with he's getting crunched in the pocket and has to deliver the ball. He's not afraid of that. They both deliver in critical moments. They don't get frazzled. I just think there's those elements to it. And, of course, Baker, has got the ability to run a little bit more, and that shows up because he's hard to take down, man. He'll slip under you. He can stay alive. You saw what he did the other day. He broke a bunch of tackles, found a way to get that first down, 3rd and 14. I mean, that's kind of his game too. So just competitive, and that's what they have in common. Guys are competitive.
You haven't blitzed as much, and you've played a lot more zone coverage the last couple of weeks. How do you think the defense has adjusted to that, specifically the linebacker work?
Well, I think we've adjusted well. I mean, you do what you got to do per opponent and where you're at too. So, we felt like going into the last two games where we were at, that was the right thing to do for the most part. But there again, every game's different, and you always assess and decide how you're going to play that game. And just because it's been that way a tick more doesn't mean it's staying that way.
And this team hasn't lost back-to-back games in almost 3 years. What do you attribute the ability to bounce back?
It's our players. We got a good group of guys. They're competitive. They're a resilient group. They know how to overcome adversity. They don't like losing. And they go back to work to fix the things that need to be fixed. We got a couple of things to clean up, and we're going to clean them up this week. So it's our players, man. Coaches do a hell of a job too.
You mentioned the other day possibility of David getting a bigger piece of the pie. Where do you feel like your run game is at on the whole? Do you feel like it's been as consistent as you would have liked?
Yeah, I like our run game. You get in a game like what happened last week, and all of a sudden you end up, you miss on one of those possessions, and now you're down 2 scores. It takes you out of a little bit of that. You try to get it going, but you don't have as many opportunities. So if you miss on one, down 2 scores, it's hard to go back to it, right? Because you kind of got to start pushing the ball a little bit. So, but as far as being we're pretty efficient with it. We got a pretty efficient run game. We're always going to want more. I'm going to want more. That's just the nature of how I feel. I'm going to want more always offensively, But I like it. It's certainly a weapon for us.
Your offensive line has had time to obviously build some chemistry, but Vea was a force last year, even when Frank was here. What do you have to do game plan-wise when you have a game wrecker in the middle like that?
He's a good player. I think it's he's so look. The size is one thing, but his quickness to get off the ball, he's got explosiveness, and he's got really good feet. And that's what makes when you're a man that big, and you can move like he moves. Then you got to do everything right, man. You got to play with leverage. You got to have the get off of your life. We have double teams. We got to be able to fit the double teams together. You're off just a little bit, and he will split you. He'll crease you. He'll get an edge. He'll do that in the pass game too. He'll swim sometimes, And so if you're not locked in and you're not perfect fundamentally, he'll get on you. So it's just another one of those, man, we got to be locked in on every stinking play, and we got to work together.
The way that Aline played last year when Aiden went out, and then ultimately he got hurt, but just to have him back, when we continue to ask you questions about the pass rush this offseason, has he kind of been that ace in your back pocket that you've been ready to unveil?
Yeah, I mean, Mac brings a lot to us. He's going to bring, I feel like he's going to bring a lot in the pass game because he's a guy we believe can win one-on-ones, in the pass game, but also all that he can do in the run game. I mean, he's stout, he's aggressive, man. He's powerful. So I just think he's another player that can elevate those around him, and that's a good thing when you start talking about, well, who are the players around him? I think he helps Hutch just like Hutch will help him. I think he helps Muhammad. I think he helps Reeder. I think he helps all of them and the backers behind him. So it's good for us to get him back.
When Reiner asked you about the zone coverage, one of the elements you said is just kind of where you at personnel-wise making some of these decisions. With the Bucks, they're down a ton of their weapons. Like, what is the trickiness of planning or trying to guess what they do when they're going to be down so many guys?
Well, I think if you look at what they shoot, man, just look at the San Francisco game, man. They kind of ran their system, and Baker found the open receiver, and if he wasn't there, he progressed. He's playing good football, and those receivers are doing what they're asked to do. I would say it's a pretty detailed, disciplined group, man. They're where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there, and then the rest is up to Baker. So I think a lot of time, that can make it easier sometimes just from the quarterback position and offensively just to, work right through the progression, and you got to do your job. And so, they really haven't missed a beat, Now, certainly you get a guy like Evans back, he's a massive weapon, and they could get him back. We'll find out. But there again, it's always going to be that fine balance between, all right, you play a ton of zone, well then, they pick you apart, and they bleed you out. And but then if you play too much man-to-man, are you setting yourself up for explosives or something happens here? So, Shep's always going to balance that, and we assess, but we'll have a good plan for these guys going in.
Baker's on his fourth team, kind of giving up for dead, a few, teams ago. Do you have a soft spot for guys like that? Just kind of appreciate the road that they've traveled to still be, get the most out of themselves.
I mean, I do. I respect the player he is, the person he is, and really what he has overcome. I do, and in that regard, it is a lot like golf, man. There's a lot of people or teams that told you that you're not the guy, and you hang in there, continue to work, improve your game, keep your confidence, don't listen to that mess, and you find the right fit. You find the right fit, and then, boy, you take off. And that's really what he's done. And, I just think he's resilient. I love that about him.
Dan, what do you like about bringing on Jamie Robinson? And did you guys have your eye on him a couple of years ago in the draft?
Yeah, we did. We liked him coming out. And, Brad and I were talking. I mean, Brad's kept an eye on him for a while, always kind of tracked where he's at, when he's been available. And so to be able to poach him and get him for a few weeks here is, it'll be good to get a look at him. But we do like him. He's aggressive, pretty tough kid, can play special teams. We think there's nickel, safety, flex, probably starting with safety, but we like him. Yeah, we'll get a peek at him.
Dan, what are you hoping that your players, maybe even your assistants, are drawing from you on a regular basis, and what does it take to kind of maintain that?
I don't know. Look, I think when you're in this business and it's such a long season, and to not get caught up in the immediate moment and just take it for what it is and try to be as consistent as you can every day. I'd like to believe that's what they've drawn is, man, it's a new day, fix what needs to be fixed. And, nothing's as bad as it seems to be. Nothing's as good as it seems to be. And just take it for what it is. I think that hopefully is what they draw from me, consistency.
Another guy you added this week is Fuller. Not sure if you know if he's part of your game plan at this point, but a lot of good football there. What do you think he could contribute here if you do need him?
Well, he's another one. This will be our first day with him at practice. We know what he's been able to do in this league. He's a veteran. He's a veteran player he's played a lot of football. So he's got some banked reps on him, and we'll just, he's kind of like Jamie. We'll get eyes on him and see what he looks like. Is there a potential to take him? I can't answer that right now, but at least it gives us another veteran guy we can look at.
Try to get Decker some practice time at all this week.
We'd like to. Yeah, we'd like to. I think if we can get him going a little bit tomorrow, see if we can do that, we'll do that. He's feeling better, but we'll see. I don't see him practicing today, though.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.